carry, right? I believe in that. But the thing is, you don't know when some lunatic is gonna show up and start shooting uh,
That's
with an automatic weapon, right? I mean, you could go to a movie theater, you could go to a Fourth of July parade, you could go to a concert. All of
Right.
those we've seen automatic weapons and people get killed. Now I can tell you when I was in Iraq, when every time we call it going out the wire, that means you left the base, the forward operating base, and you had to have on your body armor, your helmet, your
Right.
weapon, and that was normal for being in a war zone. But to be in the United States of America, you shouldn't have to do that every time you leave your house because you don't know where the threat is or when it's coming.
Exactly.
you just don't know.
You
Going to
don't know.
work.
You don't know.
Mm,
Even when
Church.
they go to an event. I mean, any event that I go to, I mean, you're still looking to the left, looking to the right. Excuse me. And welcome everyone who's just joining us. The live button actually just went on, so we've only been in for 2 minutes just to let everyone know. So again, I just want to reintroduce everyone. Welcome to the show. We are the Cupcakes. We're here to give you the hotness, what's going on, hot off the press. We want to inform you because we do inform you. And we'd love for you to come in. If you'd like to pop in, come on in. We have the link shared down in the comment section. And again, it's a WooooSa Wednesday. And welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Renita Williams. And we have a wonderful, great topic of information, topical information going on today. We have Marlene over here to my right. Marlene, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, you know me. I'm Marlene. I'm your around the way educator, and that's about it.
Okay, and we also have Dana, who is one of our official cupcakes. How you doing, Dana?
I'm doing well. I don't have a great introduction like Marlene, but I'm a little saucy as well.
Okay, very good. Dana has a book out, a wonderful table read
Oh,
Yes,
that is
author.
out.
thank you.
Please order it. It is called I Am She. And
We
we'll talk about that a little later. But again, if you need to order it, we'll put the information in, or Dana can actually give that to you. And again, everyone, thank you again. Welcome for coming in. I see all the comments coming in. We had you on pause, and we're here now. Now I see. I was like, where are the comments? We had to hit that little click button. But Chris Metz has been giving us a wonderful, wonderful point of view. And I want to reintroduce, if you guys missed it, Chris Metz. We grew up together. His mother was my middle school social studies teacher, and that's why I love geography so much. And I'm like, that is like one of my favorite and top topics in world history and American history. So again, I owe everything to Mrs. Metz. Thank you so much, Mrs. Metz. And Chris's brother was actually on, Mark Metz, who was our sports analyst. And again, he's another New Jerseyan, and again, a member of the HBCU culture, and again, well renowned. And again, he's our honorary cupcake for today. So I want to also invite everyone to come out to the HBCU picnic that's going to be held this weekend on Saturday in South Florida. You can go on Eventbrite. Please come out, represent if you are in the area. I will be representing Hampton University. And Chris, I know you said you had some things going on, but Virginia State will be represented with your boy. And
You left that out. Renita's husband and I went to Virginia State together. He's a little bit ahead of me, about 2 years ahead of me. But yeah,
right, exactly. And again, Chris and I went to high school together, but we were talking about, excuse me, everyone, about the Highland Park Parade in Illinois, and basically the having contraband, having artillery weapons just on you, machine guns. I mean, just being able to be out in public. This young boy Robert, what his name, Cremo the Third. He was
Yeah.
he dressed as a woman, like he disguised himself to blend in as a woman. And just to say, like I said, Dana and I, we grew up in a household with contraband in our homes. Our dads were both law enforcement, police lieutenants with the East Orange, New Jersey Police Department. Shout out to all of
yeah.
EOPD. I
Yo.
just want to reiterate that, being that we're back on live. And again, Chris being a lieutenant colonel, retired, he wanted me to make sure he said that, from the Pentagon. But Chris, I want you to continue because you're making some valid points. But I just wanted to kind of bring everyone back in the fold, and bring everyone up to speed where we started from. Okay,
well,
let's go
okay.
ahead.
So I'm not a doctor. I've seen a lot in my military career. Um, and not so there was a course I had to take which was called it's called 401. It's critical thinking, and what
Mm-hmm.
you had to read a bunch of cases, and you had to you know determine what the root of the problem was. So I'm going to just say it in layman's terms is, and again, I'm not a doctor, but the way as I see it, and I'm not using this as a cop out by any means, right? It's mental illness, right? Mental illness is real, PTSD, whatever. To actually, buy a weapon and say, hey, I'm gonna go to a theater like the Batman movie about 10 years ago and go shoot everybody up, or hey, I'm going to the 4th of July where everybody's having fun and shoot everybody. That's mental illness, right?
Yeah.
But so it's hard. You may be able to detect the mental illness, but there's so many cases. But the bigger root of the problem. So that's the root of the problem. The problem is you have to get those automatic weapons out of the hands of people that have mental illness. Now, I kind of got called on this show at the last minute, so I didn't get a chance to do research, Renita.
That's all right, Chris. I mean, I know you can wing it.
You
But
I know you can wing
Chris,
it.
you're doing the thing, Chris.
You're doing your thing, exactly.
I think,
Drop
and I
those
don't
gems. Drop those gems.
right. So I think I don't know if this law has been reversed or not, but I think under the Trump administration, they got rid of the law allowing people with mental illness to purchase
Right.
weapons. And I don't know if they've reversed that or not. I again, I didn't have time to do research, but why would you do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Because of greed. We want to sell weapons. Oh, and then everybody uses the Second Amendment as, oh, hey, we got to protect ourselves. Well, yes, that's true. But when the Second Amendment was written, there were no such things as automatic weapons. You
Exactly.
you had to stuff everything in, and so there's a lot of things that have changed, just like in the course of our life, like how certain jobs don't exist anymore, like
Sure.
milkman, right? Or
Yeah.
even
Newspaper.
newspaper, buying a TV. You bought your parents or grandparents bought a TV, you kept it for 20 years. Now they go for about 5 years, and then they
Yeah.
say, oh, hey, it's cheaper to just buy a new TV, right?
Right.
So
Exactly.
my point there is that we as a society are changing, and that Second Amendment probably needs to be relooked at and
Mm-hmm.
adjusted. Uh, but it all starts at the top, the powers that be. You can hit a glass ceiling, and once you hit that glass ceiling and you don't make any decisions anymore, all you can do is vote, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
But
Right.
voting.
That is
That's
true.
it.
But something, there's so many gun shows here in South Florida, literally like down the street from where I am.
sadly, America loves their guns,
That's
right?
it. That's all. I mean, these are like convention centers, okay? And they're packed 3 days. And it is like you ride through there, I'm like, whoa, hey. But again, there are a lot of people who are who hunt for hunters and who carry that machinery.
Well, so to
And
be fair,
that's the justification of a lot of the times.
we know there are a lot of responsible gun owners.
Mm-hmm.
However, we have the data, right? Ever since it all started with Columbine back in
Yes.
1999,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
I remember I was 29 years old, getting ready to go.
Yeah, we were young.
I was getting ready to go to Korea, and I'd never seen anything like that.
No.
And then what you saw, so we've got data for over 20 years of this happening, and every time I have people just say, oh well, let's pray for them, let's pray, and you got to do something. You've got to stop. In the military, we used to say, look, if you look the other way, I've set another standard, right? And
Wow.
that keeps happening, right? I mean,
even the Parkland shooting here at the high school, Stoneman Douglas. I mean, it's like it's so hard to even get anyone to sit as a juror because everyone is like, no, I don't even. It's too much. So literally, they've been securing people little by little, but because it's so much to take in. No one wants to sit on that jury, and
it's become so common now that,
Right.
so, when I raised my right hand back in 1993 or 4, somewhere around there, right? You sort of hold the Constitution of the United States, and, you living, everybody remembers it was safe to live in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Now
When,
everyone wants to leave. Everyone
right,
wants to
for
flee.
us,
Everyone wants to go out of the country and live.
yeah, for us, when we used to deploy for wars, like, okay, hey, it's on and popping now. Like, that your life was at risk.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what you did, when you're deployed, all you think about is going back home to the States and what you want
Exactly.
to do.
Right.
And
Right.
then you get back here, and don't get me wrong, this is not like a third world country, but
Mm-hmm.
for a country, the most powerful country in the world, and the sophistication that we have, for this to continue to happen over and over and over, something has to give and something has to change. And
So Chris and Renita, as fellow gun owners, and Marlene, I'm not sure if you own guns as well. Would you say that there is a lack of respect? And the reason why I say that is, even though our dads were police officers, number one, my father knew I respected the fact that I was not going to touch that gun. And so
Exactly.
every day he would keep it on the left side of the couch on the floor. And when he would get ready for work, he would say, "Hand me my gun." I knew not to touch it.
Right.
There were no spankings involved or anything. You don't touch it. You don't play with it. And even
Right.
when he gave me my gun when I turned 21, he gave me the rule. He and Mr. Jackson, so I had both of them tag teaming me, Lieutenant
Yes.
Jackson. And the rule was, don't pull it out unless you intend to use it.
Unless you're going to use it. Because if you're
well,
pulling out, all intent, you're going all the way. That's
Actually,
it.
myself. That's why he gave it to, not so I could walk around and brag about it and
Right.
use as a trump card. I lived on my own.
so
Like, if someone comes in your house, these are the rules. You call 911. You say, "Get out of my home." You
Right.
warn them a couple of times, and to me, there's no respect for authority on any level,
well
and a
so
gun is an authority to me.
so Renita, you're a teacher, and I'm sorry, Cupcake number 2, you're a teacher too, correct?
Marlene, yes.
Yes.
Marlene, sorry. All right. So many pretty cupcakes, I can't remember the name.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Oh.
Anyway,
Excuse me. What's your question? What's your question?
well, no, it's not a question. It's more of a comment, right? So,
Mhm.
as a teacher, right, teachers, plural.
Mhm.
When your students come in, right, and my mom, who is retired social study junior high teacher, it's her birthday too in 3 days, July 9th. So,
Yay!
uh,
Mrs. Nuts.
yeah,
Happy early birthday.
thank you. So, you can tell, and I know this because when I was at home, when I would hear the stories, her school stories. So you knew what students came in and came from a solid family, and education was being reinforced.
Mhm.
And then you
Sure.
also knew which students came in, and the home life, there was not quite the same reinforcements or teachings. Renita, my mom taught at Maxon most of her career, and I think for like 2-3 years. When I
Yeah.
first went to college, there was some kind of program where she went over to, what's the junior high over on the West End?
Hubbard.
Hubbard, right? And she
Mhm.
said she could tell the difference in the kids at Hubbard
Oh
and
boy.
Maxon. You know what I'm
Okay.
talking about, right? So
Okay. And
you might, I hope that not everybody, but my point is when education and in your case, coming from a law enforcement home,
Mhm.
respect for a weapon is taught,
Yes.
and
Sure.
you carry that and you grow up. So, like, remember the kids from Columbine, their parents didn't know, after they killed all those people in school, their parents didn't even know they had weapons, right?
Yeah.
and
Right.
so that's, so some of it is what's being reinforced at home. Kind of, it's kind of like when you date or marry somebody, you think, oh, hey, they're attractive, we got a lot in common, but eventually what happens is, you find out that their upbringing is different from yours, and that sometimes is what causes
And a
the
couple of
clash.
screws might be loose up there too, and you didn't know about it
Mhm.
Right.
until
So
Right.
down the road.
We are
right.
yoked
and
at
and
all.
right, and then you find out like, hey, everybody didn't come from a home like
That's
me,
true. Yeah.
and either you find a way to work it out and compromise, or you're gonna split. But so
Yeah.
that's what it is with these weapons, is that
Wow.
in some cases people are just like, oh yeah, I need weapons to protect myself, and no respect is taught about the weapon. And
Exactly.
usually all these shootings are young white males in their 20s, early 20s or teens,
I mean,
right? They've had
it's like a
these
pattern.
weapons.
It's become like a prototype, and
Yeah,
it's sad to say, but we're looking at facts. We're looking at you know the whole break the profile, and that seems to
yeah,
be where it's coming down to.
yeah. Well, and here's the other thing. Again, I go back to the mental illness, because I've had soldiers that I had to back in my career where I had to admit them to mental health.
Okay.
In some cases, it's chemical imbalance in the brain. It could happen to you,
Wow.
me, or anybody, and it has different effects, right? So again, that's the root of the problem. But you have to keep. I think the automatic weapons should be strictly for law enforcement and
Okay.
military, and
Okay.
even change the age, right?
Yeah.
Because you know,
Now that was that's what the Biden law was all about. The
yeah,
law that was just signed.
look at this. I mean, think about that. So maybe I'm telling on myself. When I was in college, I remember I was really upset that you had to be 21 to buy
Right.
alcohol. Of course, I did not, like most, did not wait to 21 to get my first uh, alcohol. So, but again, that was a law, and there's a reason for that law,
Right.
right? Um,
Yep.
and but because so weapons, right? So maybe automatic weapons, not only take them out of the hands of civilians, but change it to a another age of 28. But
Another
again, every time you make a law, somebody's going to try to find a new way around. Because if
of
I'm
course.
some 19, 18-year-old mental kid who wants a weapon, I can't buy. Maybe I got an older brother or best friend to
Right.
buy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Just like this. So I'm going to go out here and change this up just a little bit, Renita. The Roe versus Wade, right?
Okay. Sure.
Very
Yeah. Let's
controversial, right?
talk about it.
Will abortion stop? No,
No.
right? What'll probably happen now is, before our time, when certain abortions were legal, girls were dying or trying to give themselves,
Yeah.
illegal abortions because they
Right.
didn't know what they were doing, or there's some, jackknife doctor. Oh, hey, I'll get rid of that. So,
Right. Now you have the increase of the pill. I mean, now it's like scarce to find the next day, the day 2 pill or day 3 pill or the next day pill. Those are effective. They work.
yeah,
And that's just again another reason, another way of showing you that an age factor, just signing a law. I mean, you can always find a way that you can find your way around it. You can
Yeah.
go to another
Absolutely.
state. Everyone's going to Illinois, going over to the next state where they're just lined up around the door. But my thing is that again, we talked about Independence Day, and a lot of people, and I think a few of you may even posted, where's the real independence? Where's the real freedom? Or should we really be celebrating the 4th of July? I believe it's the 246th birthday of America. 246 years old, if I'm not correct. But my thing is, where are we right now? Where are we? How do you feel as an American, as a female American, as a male American today? Do you feel
we're
full? Do you feel like
we
your constitutional rights are being uplifted? Do you feel like you can actually execute them, use them?
we we
Utilize
we
No,
are we are divided. That's where we are.
them?
yeah,
Marlene, how do you feel about
yeah.
that?
We're divided, and I don't feel like my constitutional rights are being upheld at all. Number one, we are killed in the street, and I wish I knew the young brother's name who was shot 60
Yeah.
times unarmed,
Absolutely.
and I don't know his
Yes.
name, and that's horrible, but
Okay.
60 times. And the young guy who actually killed 7 individuals in the Chicago suburb who was
Sure.
white, he was arrested. He was armed, and he killed people. And
Well,
there was not a knee on his neck. He was
No.
so
breathing. Go
so
ahead.
Exactly.
here's the one detail you left out. So the young man that was killed shot 60 times. He was an African American, 25 years old.
Right, definitely.
Running away.
He committed a traffic violation.
Right.
Right. And he did attempted to flee from the traffic stop. And he shot him 60 times and killed him. This other young man, 22 years old, Caucasian, murdered 6 and shot 30. He attempted to flee too. He was taken into custody without incident.
How about that?
We've heard that a million times.
Too many times. I didn't even post about it on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
I think I did, but not a lot because I'm tired of these posts.
We're all tired.
It's the same thing over and over again. And when you shoot someone 60 times, you're no longer trying to kill them. You hate them.
Yes. Yeah, it's emotional. It's personal.
They're already dead. What are you shooting 60 times for? They're already dead.
60 times.
Well, so there goes. I mean, we could talk all night.
Sure, we can.
So they were talking about recruitment for the police force, right? They've got to do better screening. Okay. And I'm one to say that perhaps maybe a police officer should have some education, maybe a certain amount of hours in college.
Absolutely.
You want the dedication a lot, because you get a lot of these young men and just like, hey man, I want to kick some heads in and
right.
If I put this uniform. And it's not to say every police officer, right? Because I have friends that are police officers, white and black, that are very good.
Right.
But you have to screen them out and
you have to screen them out. Like both of our dads, they have their masters. So I mean, they were just about higher education.
But know what, Chris, to your point is like you do want police officers or police women, they are examples, right? So some college would not hurt. You have some kind of drive and ambition. So not saying that you have to want a graduate degree, but and our dads were our examples. So they're our heart for us.
And they
won more. My dad didn't even have a high school diploma. But he was on the undergrad with Mr. Hughes and then graduate school while they worked. Because they wanted better.
So the thing is, when you put that uniform on, you become neutral. When I say neutral, it doesn't matter your skin color, if you're male or female. But the problem that we've been having, and this has been addressed, right? So retired Lieutenant General Lloyd Austin is working on us. So I'm going to take it over to another direction, right? Okay. So white supremacists, right? They're in the military, they're in the police force, right? Is this a political? Can I say political stuff on here, Renita? So
we can, yeah. So just as long as we're not striking any curse words. Okay.
No. So when you look at what's been stacked over the previous administration, you've got judges, police officers, and then you've got the military. So if you have people in there that are, and trust me, those years in the military, you come up to a glass ceiling,
right,
and see like, hey, wait a minute, I don't see a lot of me or you, and those are the guys that make the laws and make the decisions, and it all starts from the top, I guess is what I'm saying. So again, I just think maybe, when you put that uniform on, it should mean something. And being a police officer is not an easy job.
No.
But the training. So, when I graduated Virginia State, I had to go to officer basic training, which I think it was like about 6 or 7 months, right?
Okay.
And then I, went to airborne school, and then I went to my unit. But it depends on what branch of the military you have. So if you're an intelligence officer, I think you go to Yuma, Arizona. You're there for like a year, right? Fort Washington.
Wow.
So with the police officers, they perhaps need to take a little more time and care to train them. It's hard to it's hard to say. You can have laws and you can have rules, but if somebody's heart is mean and hateful, and what's the old sheep and wolf's clothing, right?
Right.
Yeah. And they're wearing a uniform and have a weapon, and they see somebody who doesn't look like them, and tell them to stop, and they don't, and they shoot them 60 times. And then they say, hey, I fear for my life, right? And then, you got somebody who has a mass killings with an automatic weapon, and, they get taken without a bruise on them.
Exactly.
And we have the data for all this stuff. This
Yes.
data goes back. So, it's very frustrating. And there are no easy answers.
So we just want to make sure that everyone just stay aware, stay woke, as we say, and just vote. When different amendments and different laws are coming through, make sure you vote and make sure your voice is counted and that you're counted.
I would add one other thing. If you ever are in an area where there's mass shootings, right? Most people, we're taught this in the military: hit the ground, go to the ground, right? Because when you're running, whoever's shooting at you, whether they know what they're doing or not, you're liable to get hit while you're running or standing up. Just hit the ground.
Thank you for that tip.
Every time we heard incoming in Iraq, you can just be walking. You just get on the ground, right? Because you don't know where the income is going to hit, and then there's going to be shrapnel explosions. So, just a tip for the day.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I had to charge up my battery. Thank you so much for that information. And we're just thankful that we do have knowledgeable resources that can come in and give us those gems, shoot us that information, because that's what's needed, especially on this platform, because we have a lot of viewers who are interested, who want to know, who need information. I mean, like myself, I just learned a couple of things that I didn't know. It's always something new that we are learning. And again, we want to just acknowledge all of our viewers that are coming in. Diane, we see you out here. We gave you a link. What happened to you? The High Apple Crescent. Thank you so much. We love you. Brandon, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Okay, who else do we have here? Wow. Okay, Gypsy, we wanted you to come on in. We're looking for you, Gypsy. It looks like Tanisha left. How are you, Tanisha? Where are you calling in from? Where are you viewing from? And again, thank you guys for watching us. We want to kind of turn not too far, but we do want to turn a little bit, excuse me, and talk about Brittany Griner, the WNBA star for the Phoenix Mercury. I mean, let's free Brittany. That's where we are right now. Let's free Brittany. And we're just trying to find out, what is going on. I mean, we've been hearing about it in the news. I know some information about it. She's been there for 5 months in Russia. And basically, it was on these charges of hashish and some type of vapor. They had her on the surveillance camera. She was going through, and they dinged her in security, and bam, she's been detained for 4 or 5 months. They're saying this is kind of like a little ploy, like a little pawn situation or hostage situation, if you want to call it or not, with Ukraine and the United States. Now, again, another political situation. Biden's trying to get a letter sent to her from Brittany's wife here in the U.S. I mean, the trial, I believe it starts tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, Friday.
We're talking about the basketball player, right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
Brittany Griner. What's going on? Again, another situation of Americans, being pawned.
Well, I heard something interesting. I think it was today. This is what happens when you get called at the last minute.
You listen. You're knowledgeable. So I knew I could rely on you. I knew I could rely on you, Chris. Talk about it.
So this what's going to happen here is there's going to have to be a trade, right? And I think there's it's not just her. There's 2 other Americans too.
Yes, there are journalists.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and we are holding what I saw in the news is somebody, a gun runner or something. He's a pretty dangerous guy.
Are they 2 soldiers that they're holding? American soldiers?
I'm not sure. I did get a chance to do my
I'm sorry.
But but what I did see is that we have, we went to HBCUs, like in the game of spades, we've got a big spade. And I think what they're requesting, and this guy's a dangerous guy, but they're requesting that
Merchant of Death, Mike. That's what they call him. I am Googling Merchant of Death.
Whoa.
Yeah,
It's a high level trade.
Right.
Thank you.
Equal.
Yeah, so they're talking about trading him. You know, he's the big spade trading for our, you know, 3 of hearts or diamonds over in Russia. And you know, they had, you know, I think that trade is worth it, right? Because you know, they're looking for at 10 years, right? For weed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Maybe 15, 10,
Yeah,
15
whatever.
years.
That's
Unbelievable.
too long.
That's a lot. That's a lot of time.
And they're in a foreign country
And
that doesn't like us. So, you know, if I were the decision maker, I would trade that Merchant of Death for those 3 Americans. This Merchant of Death, will he cause chaos? Sure, but you know, in the military we call this the black world, black ops. Right? Those are guys that do all kinds of weird things at night, like they get on planes and go places and come back. I had a couple. I lived in a neighborhood full of special forces when I was in Fort Bragg. You know, my neighbor, one day I'd see his wife and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And you know, I won't say his name. Where's so and so? And she's like, "Oh, he's gone." And that was my code. Wink, wink. Like, hey, Chris, he took off. He'll get back when he comes back, if he comes back.
Wow.
Right? So you know, that Merchant of Death is one guy, right? And he will probably continue to do the things that he does to earn that name. Wow. And you know, eventually, you know, he will meet an end, as we all will, right? Or he'll pop up on the radar again. So, you know, I would say trade that Merchant of Death, that 1 for 3. That's a you know, and you know, nobody deserves to lose 15 years of their life over
exactly.
Right?
No,
That's not hurting anybody.
And they just said the percentage is so high of her actually being actually found guilty in Russia.
I think it's like 98%. It's like it's up there.
It's a high percentage. So her likelihood of actually being not exonerated but just being released is slim.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that's like one of us getting found guilty in the backwoods of some, you know, kick country town, right? And we're on trial and nobody looks like us, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're probably gonna be found guilty. So, and is that a fair trial? Probably not. So
now, does anyone know why she had the substance? Had that ever come out? Because I haven't heard that part. Was it like a CBD? Well, I mean, I'm just, you know, what was
she's an athlete? Was it for pain? I mean, you know,
right. That's what we need to find out. And
well, to counteract. So I don't think it really matters why she had it.
Okay.
And the question is, so the 2 ways of looking at this, right? We know what's right and what's wrong, and unfortunately, there's also laws, right?
Sure.
Is it legal or illegal, right? And law doesn't mean laws are always right, but laws are laws. You know, once upon a time, it was legal to have slaves. Is it right? No. So I think if it's the laws, if it's illegal, you know, she should not have had it, right? Now, but does she deserve to do 15 years, 10 to 15? No. Does she deserve to be held as long as she has for this? No. But doesn't pass the common sense test.
No.
Okay. Well, there you go. Let's just pray for Brittany Griner.
Prayers for Brittany that she's
let her go. Please set her free. She needs to be set free.
And that Biden's able to do something, because he did respond to her wife later on today, stating that he is trying to get her out.
You know, so I'll just add one other thing too. Just because of my background, sometimes things are not as black and white as you think they are. Mm-hmm. Right? There's only so much information they can release to the public. So there's some other things probably going on behind closed doors that, you know, we are not privileged to, and there's probably good reason why we're not privileged to it.
Right. It's just scary. I know she's.
You know,
I know she's petrified.
I remember after January 6th, and they had the National Guard out there.
Okay.
In DC, and one of our Union Catholic UC classmates was on Facebook talking about, oh, Joe Biden needs to let them go home, and this guy never served. Yeah, and I said to him, I said, look, you know, we have clearances in the military, secret, top secret, and you know, there's a threat that they're not going to let the public know about, right? So there's a reason why those soldiers stayed for a long period of time after January 6th, because Intel has stuff, and again, like I said, we have so much available to us now.
Exactly.
We can't have everything available, right? So there are things going on behind the scenes that we don't always.
And just going back on that, since you talked about the coup, with Rudy Giuliani and Lindsey Graham being subpoenaed, I mean, you know, with this information, and just also with the calls that were being sent in about the voting and how to sway the votes, all this kind of is like hand in hand. And
so here's something here. So I'm gonna put a spin on it real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
All those right wing judges that were appointed under the Trump administration, right? Mm-hmm. That's where the real damage is done, right? Because if those guys do get tried in court, just like that who was that kid who shot the Black Lives Matter, the kid, you know, 16-year-old kid had a automatic weapon, killed 2 people last year.
Rittenhouse.
Yes.
Rittenhouse. Yeah.
Remember how that I mean, it was right in front of our face. You know, we got the stuff that kid got to do, you know, because the judge let him do it, right?
And it was all on video. Everyone was able to see the footage.
Yeah, and then even in court, they were letting him review something. I'm like, who gets these type of privileges? So my point is, what you just talked about is, okay, they've been subpoenaed, but who are the judges?
Right.
The judges. Because if those judges were part of those, you know, life appointed judges that are on the same team, you do the math.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's just we want to just get some more uplifting things, but this is what's happening in the world, and you know, we're here to voice our opinions. We're here to talk about it, give information. If you'd like to come in, the link is also listed in the comment section. You can tap on link and come on in and join this platform and join this discussion, because it's real. It's real. And as we just finished with the 4th of July, it's even more prevalent and even more real. I mean, what do you think about the situation or the verdict with Eric Holder, who was found guilty first-degree murder of Nipsey Hussle? It took them 6 hours to find him guilty. I mean, there was footage with him. I mean, he shot Nipsey Hussle 10 times.
Yeah.
Kicked him in the head afterwards. I mean, he's convicted.
Why did it take so long? I mean, like you said, there was footage. I don't understand why it took so long, quite frankly.
There were witnesses and there was footage, but they did find him guilty of first-degree murder, Eric Holder. So all we can say is, at least that was a fair verdict, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Unfortunately, it was black on black crime. Yep. However, and they were neighborhood friends. It was just a sickness that this person had.
Yes. But
again, he's found guilty and he's gone. Like we won't see him for a very long time, if we do at all. Mm-hmm. But rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. That's all I have to say. And justice was served. Justice was served. So yeah, you guys. I mean, I was going to go into another story, but I don't even want to talk about anything else. Gloom. I just do want to say that
R. Kelly.
We'll talk about one more thing. I'm not going to R. Kelly. We got to just get this out there. I mean, it's out there. It's going on. I haven't listened to an R. Kelly song since I saw the video, the video back years and years and years and years ago. Like, I was done with R. Kelly. You know, we loved R. Kelly. We have all the anthems. I Believe I Can Fly was everyone's anthem, graduation anthem. But I don't want to see I Believe I Can Fly anymore. I don't want to see anybody fly.
I do.
In 1998, I was in a battalion, and my brigade commander loved that song so much it became the theme song for the battalion or brigade. Excuse me. Anytime we did like a 4-mile run or a sports day, anything, that song was played so much.
Because it's beautiful. It's
It
inspiring.
is.
It's
It
inspiring.
is, but I mean, but it's I mean, the lyrics, gosh, I
Well,
mean,
let me
it's
ask
like
you
right
this,
up there with the
Renita, let me
greatest
ask
of
you
them
this.
all.
Let me ask you this, Renita.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Did you stop watching the Cosby Show?
No.
Well, it
Me
was
neither.
also this way. It wasn't as available. That was more like in syndication, so you'd have to kind of find it. But no, I never researched to find it. I never really
Well,
watched.
my point is now that Bill Cosby his rep has been tarnished. Did
Yeah.
you stop watching the Cosby Show because of
I
Well,
You don't have to answer, but I'm just
I
playing.
haven't watched it, not by choice, but if it were to come on one of my favorite episodes, I would watch it.
It's
I
hard
would
to
watch
find the show now because they used to show it a lot. But I'm just playing devil's advocate.
No,
right?
no. I'm gonna say I love the Cosby Show. I understand
too.
your point about Bill Cosby and the allegations and things that happened, and a lot of the allegations were true.
So
Yes, they
so
were.
why wouldn't you listen to R. Kelly?
Only because of the way it was done. I mean, these were like, I'm looking at the age factor here because he was charged on racketeering and sexual
Okay.
trafficking with preteens, not even
Right.
teenagers, but with preteens. And when I look at that, and this guy was clearly in his 30s and 40s.
So
At
sick.
30,
Mental
I'm gonna say 30s maybe.
Mental
At the
illness.
early 30s. That's a lot to have to take in. And these young girls were held hostage. Their families didn't know, they were brainwashed. I mean, it was a lot more than a Bill Cosby slipping a Molly with some groupie, let's just say, that wanted to hang out with Bill Cosby and because it was Bill Cosby. Maybe at the Playboy Mansion or somewhere else. It's two total different scenarios. I can't compare the two. For me, it's like apples and oranges because I'm looking at the age factor. And I saw this video with the girl who was like 12 years old with the grown man and being held. And then you're being held captive. I just watched the documentary with the girls coming out after the fact. It was crazy. It was sick and it was scary. And he was brutal. And he was, and then you have his brothers, his family members coming out and pretty much co-signing on everything that happened. No, I am not listening to an R. Kelly song ever again.
I am.
I'm not. I
Go
don't.
ahead. Go ahead. I want to give my opinion, but go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, babe.
Dana?
No, Dana.
Now, when I just think about the content, because he had bangers, and I never saw the video, and actually, I think I'm gonna say I'm guilty of even giving him a pass when we all heard about the Aaliyah situation. It's like, all right, you still,
that was kind of hearsay back in the day. Yeah,
as this became more prevalent, and you listen, R. Kelly, the content of the songs, and thinking that he is singing about a kid.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I can't stomach that.
Well,
he was clearly preying on young girls. That was his MO. Like that was straight up.
Yes. But listen, the song, I Believe I Can Fly. And there's another one, plenty of songs that he wrote. There's another one that I always use for my graduation with my students. I'm talking about separating the man and the crimes that he committed, separating that and his art and his genius. I said it, and his genius and his talent. Same thing with Bill Cosby. Everything that he did for the Black community with the Cosby Show, different world. I'm separating the two because if we stop watching the Cosby Show, then those actors and actresses who are on the show, they don't get money. It's no longer in syndication. Also, Bill Cosby did Fat Albert, Positive Role Models, the show that he starred and introduced after the Cosby Show. It was also called the Cosby Show, but he just presented positive.
That was actually Cosby, but yeah.
Pardon me?
That was actually Cosby. And then there's the Cosby Mysteries. And
then there's the Jello Bread Gelatin commercials. I mean,
and the same thing for me, R. Kelly. I Believe I Can Fly is a beautiful song. I can't even think of the song that I always use for my graduation. The words are inspirational. There's another song that he made, He Saved Me.
Okay.
He had talent. I'm separating it.
But I think about, Marlene, who is he speaking of? Because when you create music, it comes from a source. It comes from a core. And when I think about the core, I'm thinking that, I mean, and also his ex-wife who came on said a lot of the songs he would think about it and give the girl and
I
tell
don't know,
the girls that he was naming them or creating the songs after them,
but
whether
I'm
they
not
knew
thinking
or
about.
not.
I'm not thinking about the young lady. I don't know what his mindset was. I
Yeah.
think it's an issue for me where we want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. And I'm going to bring up another case with the Aunt Jemima, the
Okay.
the photograph or the picture of Aunt Jemima on the pancake box.
Right.
We all thought it was so degrading. And now we don't. Now we've got this thing called milling company. We're erasing history. That's what I don't. We cannot. I don't want to erase history. Yes, the man wrote a brilliant song. I believe I Can Fly. That was very, very inspirational. And after this show, I'm going to think of that song that I used for graduation. Bill Cosby. He produced many shows that showed African Americans in a positive light. And the pancake was made by a heavyset Black woman with a bandana on her head.
Sure.
I don't want to erase history. I'm separating the two.
Well,
Okay.
you know, I think the key word is what you said is history, right? Because we as a African American race, we have been so abused and tortured that we do get very sensitive about things that happen. So I understand where you're coming from. So I think I'm on Renita's team with Cosby and R. Kelly. I can still watch Cosby. Disappointed, yes. R. Kelly, different whole different scenario because you're praying.
I'm not talking about R. Kelly. I'm talking about his work.
I got you.
Right.
And
Okay.
I thought it was my turn to talk. I thought it was my turn to talk. I'm not coming after you. So I got you, right? So my with the R. Kelly is so you know I hate to sound like a broken record, right? So again, military, right? When I got put in that position after I graduated, just like your dads that wore that uniform, you know, there's a huge responsibility that comes with that uniform.
Sure.
You know, because that uniform makes you neutral. You know, you're everybody's father, mother, brother, whatever. You know, I was a company commander. I had like 400 and some soldiers, right? So you know, you had to be fair, and and you had to make sure, you know, because we've had people in the Army go to jail for taking advantage of soldiers like that.
Right. Yeah.
1996 Aberdeen Proving Ground sex scandal, which opened up a whole can of worms, and I ended up commanding there like 4 years later.
Wow.
And
Is that in Virginia?
No, it's in Maryland, Aberdeen, Maryland. I actually it's a training post, and I did send some people to jail, right, for messing with the soldiers, the younger enlisted, you know, 7 to 18-year-old.
Was it same gender or different genders? So how was?
So it was mostly males going to jail for trying to mess with females.
Okay.
So think about when you're 18 years old, you just graduated high school, you're in the Army, you don't know anything, and these were the drill sergeants, and some of the instructors. Like I said, I had about 3 or 4 I sent away, right?
Wow.
Because they were doing the wrong thing. But my point is, I'll get back to when I was in officer basic course. I was a lieutenant, and there was a major that came in, and we used to have our ranks on the collar. And he said, "Look, you know, my rank gives me a lot of power.
Oh, wow.
Power gives me more power to help other people." And I was sold right there. I said, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. And I remember that's how I felt my whole career. Is like every time I got promoted, it gave me more power, and it gave me power to help people.
Right.
As where, you know, you can use that power for evil.
Sure.
Right. And you know, and that's so R. Kelly wasn't wearing a uniform and he didn't have rank, but he had a lot of power because he makes a lot of people money. And
I mean, he was a role model. He was a role model as well. You can call him a role model.
But you know, there were people looking the other way because he was bringing in money. Exactly. And my thing is,
people
he could have used, and you know, again, you could go back to the upbringing because I think they said he was abused, right? I'm not sure,
I
But
think he was as a child. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
so but
Mhm.
my point is that that power, he abused it. And you know, somewhere, because they've known about this for a long time.
Yeah.
Known
Somewhere
about it.
he kicked somebody off. He rubbed somebody wrong, and they decided it's time for R. Kelly to go.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if he's guilty, which he is, it shouldn't be. It's time for him to go. He should have been gone a long time ago.
But you look at LeBron James, how he used his power for good. You know, if only R. Kelly had that same playbook that
Right.
LeBron James did,
Yeah.
how many people could he have helped?
Well, he helped some of my students when he says, I am a river down in the valley. Oh, I am a. Now I'm looking the
You have a
song is the
song.
world's greatest. I used it every year for my graduation for my students. So inspiring. So he did inspire those words. So we disagree
I'm
on
going to
that.
revert back to The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston, or Ain't No Stopping Us Now. I'm shifting everything for graduations moving
And
forward.
what if we find out something bad about Whitney Houston or the brothers who did Ain't No Stopping Us Now? So we
McFadden and
don't hear that
Whitehead.
song. McFadden and Whitehead. So we stop that song.
Well, I mean, it depends on what the basis of the guilt is on. I mean, I mean,
So here's another thing. Here we go. Right. Again, how hard we are on each other because of our race.
we're
Right.
hard and also we're very forgiving.
I got it. Right. But
Right.
Johnny Cash, who killed somebody, went to jail. Right. And that's ever. And I mean, he's deceased now, but that's ever seldom ever brought up.
Right.
You know.
And when did
But
Elvis
you look at Elvis Presley. Look at Elvis Presley.
Elvis Presley. Like, look,
He was a pedophile.
when what's her name was like 15 years old
Priscilla
14.
Presley.
when he started dating.
That's right.
But was he shunned for that? No, not at all.
No, I think
Did it
because
stop
he married
his,
her.
was his career stopped? No, as a matter of fact, his career escalated.
Yeah.
Even after the fact that he had gotten married to Priscilla. She was
I'm not
14.
defending anything, against young girls. I'm just talking about his art. Okay.
Well, you know, it's
Right.
like the old rap song, "Young girls, the brain is not ready," right?
That's true. I'm not even talking about that. I can't defend that. It's
But
wrong.
Yeah.
what I'm saying is when you get a 30-year-old and a 15-year-old girl that's cute and pretty, and you know, of course she's gonna like an older guy, right? But that older guy should say, "Hey, look, yeah, she's cute." Well, I don't even know about that, right? Because when I look at a 15-year-old girl, I see a little girl, right?
Right.
She may be cute and she's gonna grow up to be a beautiful woman, but I'm too old for her, right?
Absolutely.
14,
We're making a mistake.
13, 12.
Attraction.
We
12.
are making a mistake in discarding his work. We're making a mistake.
Well, all I can say is that he brought it onto himself, and it's just sick. It's the sickening feeling for me personally that I get if I hear his music. It doesn't sit well with me anymore.
They haven't stopped selling his albums, and that's the beauty of this country. You have the freedom to buy his album or not,
to download it, to stream it.
When you found out Milli Vanilli was a fraud, right? You can still, you could buy that album or not. You know?
Right. But I believe a lot of stations have banned his music, if I'm not mistaken. Only because you think about, you may have a daughter that's 12, 13, 14, a niece that's 12, 13, 14, granddaughter. You're like, hey.
Well, you know, so here's another thing, right? When America decides they want to make somebody a hero or they can make money off of them, right? They'll look the other way, right? Until maybe they cross that line and they say, hey, you know what? They've gotten too powerful. They've gone too far. We've had enough of it, right? But because look, there's always somebody else waiting in the wings. Everybody is replaceable.
Sure.
Period.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly. Well, there you go, everyone. Here, this is our opinion and what we feel on this platform. Another topic that is hot it's hot in the news. I mean, it just continues and continues, and every station, every site is really having this as a discussion. I'm glad we were able to bring it to our show with the cupcakes tonight. And again, if you guys want to come on in, The next time we do come in, we will have some more updating topics, but we want to keep everything moving and going. And again, Chris Metz, we appreciate you so much. I mean, you dropped the jewels.
You dropped the bomb.
You got to come back, and I'll let you know a week ahead of time next time.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And send me the topics we'll be discussing.
I sure will. But we have our pre-production meetings ahead of time. But I was actually on another Zoom call. But no excuses. Again, we will make sure that you're informed a week ahead of time. Our pre-production is normally like 25 minutes going out. So we want to congratulate.
Renita, just I'm used to doing things on the fly. Just send me the topics.
I will. And exactly. That's not a problem. I do want to congratulate. Did you guys hear about Scottie Pippen Jr. and Shakur O'Neal, the sons of Scottie Pippen and Shaq? They're both going to the Lakers.
No.
Yeah. So congratulations to those guys. Right. We wish them luck in their careers in the NBA, carrying on the legacy of some NBA greats. And I'm just really, I just have a lot of things going on in my head. But again, there's a lot of topics we didn't cover because, again, we wanted to get on the serious and hot topics, you guys. And I'm glad you guys were able to be a part of it. And Tanisha Lett, thank you so much for rocking out with us, Tanisha. What city are you in? I see you guys. I see you popping up. If you want to come on into the show, come onto the platform. We'd love to have you as a guest. But I think we're going to probably wrap things up. We've been on for a long time, and we're just ready to shut everything down for a moment until we come back again, possibly on Sunday. But we're not going to let you know because it's the summer. Oh, Jersey City, Jersey girl. All right. Thank you for rocking out, Jersey girl. We love Jersey. Everybody's from Jersey in here, as a matter of fact. It's a Jersey thing, you guys.
You know what, Nita? I do have one complaint about the show.
What is that?
You all don't get. I know HBCU, blah blah blah. I mean, but Rutgers can't get a shout out.
Rutgers gets the shout outs all the time. We love Rutgers. Rutgers is the staple of New Jersey. Rutgers is a staple of New Jersey.
What I'm saying,
okay.
Rutgers, yay!
It's like 13th grade. I mean, come on.
Matter of fact, I came and stayed with you at Rutgers campus, and I was
man.
Wow, you guys have co-ed dorms freshman year.
Hey, look, that's an HBCU for you. No co-ed. Hey, look, I remember they told us that orientation. I was like, yeah, right. And then I got there freshman. I'm like, wow, they were serious?
They were serious. But Rutgers was very liberating. But,
go Rutgers, go Rutgers.
Thank you. I feel better. Thank you.
Oh, come on. Yes, everyone. Dana is a graduate alumni of Rutgers, the Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Thank you. I'm just saying.
Where you gotta wear your shirt. Rep your shirt the next time you're gonna rep. You gotta rep. Now you gotta rep.
I'm gonna wear my shirt.
You're gonna rep.
Go on with your bad self.
And
thank you. I feel important now. I mean, come on.
My apologies. I don't wing left or wing right. We embrace all. But how my heart is near and dear. But yes, Rutgers University, rock on.
Thank you.
I have a lot of friends that graduated from Rutgers, a lot, and we welcome everyone to come in. It's a whole affair. And also when we have our
Wait. I must rock out the University of Harlem. What?
Oh, yes.
What?
What's up?
College of New York, 138th Street and Compton Avenue. I went there during the time of the illustrious Leonard Jeffries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And oh my gosh,
I love him.
I think Malik Shabazz. No, I forgot the name. But anyway, Leonard Jeffries. College. Yay!
University of Harlem. Let's give a shout out.
Woo!
Another legendary school. But we embrace all colleges and universities, and don't think that we're just like, biased, because we're not. We embrace them because, we're all versatile individuals, and shout out to everyone. Okay, that's how.
Dana, you're welcome to come to our homecomings.
Well, I did many
Yeah, I
times.
know you did.
But it's tough in the Mid-Atlantic area. I mean, nobody went to Rutgers. Everybody went to HBCU. I
Hey,
went
but
to,
you're trying to send your child to HBCU, right?
you know what? Wherever the money comes,
She's
if
like,
it's
wherever
Acme
the money
University,
comes.
he going to Acme University. We need the dollars to roll through, and he's trying.
Overseas. So all those scouts out there, I see
Wherever.
your son, he's doing so great with the scouting process. I see everything
Yeah.
popping up. And congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
Because I
I'm
mean
pushing
he
for
does his thing.
Fordham. I'm pushing for
Fordham.
Fordham.
You going for Fordham?
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about the bigger picture. I'm thinking about, plan B. He thinks plan A is the NFL. I'm like, ooh, I'm thinking about that name on the resume.
Yeah,
Fordham.
well his
Well, there's
skills are
nothing
out.
wrong
His
about
skills are
playing,
there.
just there's nothing wrong about having that dream of the player playing the NFL. Just make sure you got a contingency plan.
Exactly.
Absolutely love it. I'm gonna have to have you tell him, because when we tell him, it's like one ear out the other.
That's all right. He'll get it. The fruit doesn't fall too far from the tree, right? So
Right.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to all those upcoming graduates who are rising seniors, rising juniors, and even our recent grads. We embrace you and we want you to just do what's best for you and make solid decisions with your support system behind you, guiding you and leading you in the right direction. Definitely hats off to all the uncles. Like Chris is out there. He's like the ideal uncle. He's like the superb uncle of the year. Every time you see Chris, he's with his nieces and nephews, and right,
Aww.
it's so cute, and they just all look alike. Like, oh, it's like you can tell it's just straight across. The DNA is so strong.
we're all in the position now where we have to help our youth up. We've made it.
Yes.
We've got to create opportunities for them.
Exactly.
That's
Yep.
it.
That's
Whether
that's why scholarships is so important.
That's right.
For our youth.
Keep the
There's
legacy
things that
going.
we don't know, and opportunities out there that they're not aware of.
Yep. Great.
They're always out there. So if you know of any type of scholarships available, please just log in, email us, email the show. You can go on trainwithtommy.com, email that over there. And, we just like to see it. We embrace all ages. As you know, we're doing a senior platform on the show as well.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we're just keeping everything moving. So we're just glad that the cupcakes are doing our thing. We're going to try to actually look into some speaking engagements. We got a couple of emails that are coming in. So we are trying to get that together with our appearances in terms of locations and speaking as a group. So we'll give you guys that information once we have everything lined up and confirmed. I'm excited about that.
When y'all gonna do some photo shoots? I got one of my VSU alumni. She has her own show too, and she spent money doing photo shoots and all of that.
Yes, yeah, we have to get together in one unit, all of us, and or we can pick stitch it or whatever they do, collage it. But I like for us, and I've seen that. Just that is something that's on our agenda very soon in the upcoming future. So, and also look for our merchandise, everyone. But Tommy, he's upstairs somewhere. He's somewhere in the building, and I'll tell him he got a link. Hopefully he was going to pop in, but I haven't seen him yet. But yes, everyone. So again, thank you for rocking out with us. We appreciate you rocking out with the cupcakes. And again, we will see you next time. Thank you for joining us. We love you. And of course, we don't drink the tea. We don't sip the tea. We cut the cake, and what do? We eat it too. Thank you for this being our honorary
on it.
evening. And
I didn't get the memo. I'm just watching.
Yes. Well, Mark will tell you. But thank you. And of course, we would like for you to, of course, join us once again, as you will be. And thank you, everyone, for rocking out with us. We love you, and we'll see you soon. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great night.
All right. Good night. How do I sign off?